Right. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday if you're joining us on this beautiful, lovely day on the live stream. Or maybe you're watching the replay. Today, I'm chatting with the amazing Jacqlin Richards. Welcome, Jacqlin. Hello.
Great to see you as always.
I love that we've coordinated with a Christmassy vibe going on.
I was thinking the same thing. Do you know, I almost texted you and said, what are you wearing? But then I thought, no, it's all going to work itself magically out like it always does.
Well, it's quite funny actually, because so today, everyone, if you're joining us, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is relationships. So, if you know me, even if you don't know me, I'm all about visibility and vitality. And one of the things I love is talking about connections and connection to self and also connection to other people. And Jacqlin is the go to person when it comes to relationships. And at the moment, she's got something exciting coming up, which is all about 7-day challenge, free 7-day challenge to help fix your relationship. So Jacqlin, let's start off just are you seeing people around the place, especially in the lead up to Christmas, with like focusing on, I really want to sort this out. I really need to sort things out and get things better in my relationship. Are you seeing people like concerned about that and taking action?
Yeah, I am. And interestingly, because the lead up to Christmas can also bring up, but I don't have time to look at anything. I don't have time, just the stresses, right? And also the very clear fact for so many people out there that this time can bring up a lot of the stuff that often sits under the surface in our relationships, right? The stresses, the fights, the arguments, the conflicts, all of those things come up and have a light shone on them over the holiday period. So yeah, I am seeing a lot.
So we're seeing it a lot. What I'd love to do in this little chat is I do want to find out about the challenge, but I want to start off with some. If you can give us some a sneak peek of some of the stuff you're going to dive into, and give us some actionable things. Like if someone is thinking, "Oh, I'm ready to sort out my relationship," or I've tried other things, like I've done the counseling thing, or we've tried time apart, or whatever. Is there one golden nugget that you can share with us that can be a bit of a game changer for people?
Woo, that's a great question. And I love that you said, I've done some things, I might have done some counseling work. And I know for me that when I found what the version or particular flavor of work that I do now in my trainings and in my courses, my programs, and in my coaching, a lot of people have done a lot of work already, right? They've done a lot of things. They've tried some stuff, that they've gone on a bit of a personal development journey, but they haven't done this,
Mm.
right? They haven't done this. And if I was going to give you one tip, I mean, one golden nugget, and there's so many, which is interesting because I've named this thing "Fix Your Relationships," right? And the little golden nugget that I'm going to speak to is kind of in opposition of that. But when I called it the "Fix Your Relationships," that's what so many of us want, right? It's like, oh my God, just come sort out my relationship, come sort out my kid or sort out my partner or just fix things for me. And that's where the focus is, right? It's on the fixing, it's on the problems, it's on what's going wrong, it's on what I wish wasn't happening, what I wish I could fix. And that's one of the biggest problems, right? So when I was starting to really get a feel for what the content is, what's going to actually come out in this training, a lot of us think that there are certain problems in our relationships, and I've definitely tapped into a lot of them over across the 7 days, but they're not the real problems, right? And I'm going to be
Ah.
delivering the real problems when we start speaking about some of these things like emotional reaction and conflict, right? The differences between the people in our relationships, just seeing things a different way, having different beliefs, having different views, communication. We're going to go into the juicy stuff around sex, love, and intimacy. But the biggest thing that I just wanted to drop in because you asked for it was, this focus on the problems, that what we think are the problems in our relationships. And that's what gets all of our attention. That's what gets all of our focus. And then we just keep repeating them. We just keep recreating them and we see more of it. So
Okay,
there's
so what I'm hearing
huge
from you,
piece.
because I know part of your message, because I've worked with you before and I know your work, is a lot of what you talk about is focusing on the end result, like focus on what you do desire. So is part of what you're saying is that we're focusing on the problem, but I'm also hearing that sometimes it's not that surface problem. It's actually what's underneath it. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So there's a couple of things going on there. You know, where our focus is and what we actually think is the problem isn't the real problem. So we're going to go in and have a look at the problems, right? What we see as the problems. Communication, I ain't getting no sex, right? You know, there's not enough intimacy in my love life, my relationships, whatever it is. But then what's the real problem that's actually sitting underneath?
Mm-hmm.
Because when we came into this call and we were talking about how a lot of people have done relationship work,
Mm-hmm.
right? They've seen the counselor, but they're just dealing with the problems on the surface, not the real ones underneath. And it's the real ones underneath that you need to get to, because if you don't, nothing's going to change.
Yeah. And they're
Yeah,
going in circles, but nothing's changing.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, yes. All right. You gave us a little bit of a clue before. You said like sex, intimacy, and something else. So it's 7 days. Can you walk us through the topics that you're going to cover?
Sure. Absolutely. So the first one is emotional reaction and conflict, right? When it all just kicks off, right? When we don't want it to. And so often, I know for me personally, and a lot of the clients that I work with, we're so in it, we don't even know what's going on, right? It's just we're getting triggered, we're getting upset, it's all kicking off, and we can't even actually see clearly what's going on because we're in reaction. And what's coming to me, and I remember my big boy saying this to me years ago, it's like I see red, mum, right? Like when he's mad, it's like he sees red. And
Mm.
when you're seeing red, there are nothing helpful going to come out of that place, right? There isn't the connection's gone. We're breaking down trust, we're building resentment, all of these things that I'm going to be talking about, as well as going well underneath them. But that is a juicy topic to start off with on day one.
Yes, and the key, of course, is seeing that you see red, like seeing that. So if you're listening to us and you want to up your brave, you can comment and let us know what your go-to emotional response is. Mine would be like, I get sassy. I get like, like, So are you sassy? Are you seeing red? Do you maybe go silent treatment? If you're going to get honest with yourself, comment below, let us know. Carry on, Jacqlin. What's the
Yeah,
next
yeah.
topic?
Cool. Because, yeah, the version of reaction, right? What do you actually do when when the conflict's kicking off? And, I mean, I know that I used to withdraw and then I used to chuck everything at the other person and blame them and all of that juicy stuff. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about that. The next day is around the differences, which I touched on before. When you just look at your partner and you're like, I don't even get how you can see it that way, or the way that your kid is, because they're so different to you. The differences in views and values and ways of doing things, right? And to dig underneath that and to actually be able to use them to strengthen our relationships rather than push them apart. That's what we're going to be talking about on day two. Massive topic because we're all different.
So different. Yep. Okay, what's next?
So, hiding. Now, this is a good one. It actually came up this morning because I put a video in the group. One of the invitations, as soon as you join the 7 day challenge, is to come into our private Facebook group and go live, right? Do what we're doing right now and go live. And so I did a video called "What to Do If You're Terrified of Going Live," because there's a lot of fear around it. I mean, you and I have been doing this to a point where it's
I
comfortable.
know, I
It
was thinking
wasn't
that's going to
always.
scare some people away, but okay.
Totally. It's like if you want to run for the hills, then watch this because I've got some tips and I give 5 tips about going live, right? And they're really good tips around, just take some notes about what you want to say first before you go on, because I know that back when I was trying to go live, everything would just go out of my head. I'd be like, and I wouldn't know what to say, about taking some breaths, about, going off the camera, just starting your live over
Mm.
here, just start there and,
Then creep on in.
yeah, and creep on in, maybe just, put your head over and, and talk about your cat, right? Things like this. But what happened was my microphone died. Yeah, which you'll recognize because you're the one that gave it to me. So the little mic, these
I
little
did give it
ones.
to you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So that died in the middle of the live. And it was like, wow, I'm inviting these beautiful people into vulnerability and in the group because that's what this is all about, right? It's not about being perfect. It's not about getting it right. It's about bringing all of you to your relationships and stop hiding. So you stop hiding in them, right? Because so many of us are wearing the masks. We're putting up barriers. We're showing a version of ourselves in our relationships that we believe is going to get us love, right? Or keep the love. And it's not our authentic selves. It's not the truth of who we are. So I really bought the truth of who I was this morning when it didn't go as I thought it was going to go, right? So half of the video was me going without the volume, without the sound. So I redid the video, laughed at myself, and provided a beautiful reference
Yeah.
point how to
The
bring
bar has been set, my friends. It's
the
right
bar
down
has
here.
been set. It was pretty low, I've got to say, but I used that as a beautiful example. We're not
And you've had like tons of people sign up already. What are you at?
yeah, we've almost got 100 people already signed up. And we've
So it's
still got
obviously resonating
5
with
days.
people. Okay, so you've got after the hiding, what comes after that?
Oh, okay. So the day 4 is called resentment kills, right? Resentment in your relationship will kill it. It will slowly erode away at it. And I know for me that, it might just be a little resentment mountain of all of the things that have been unsaid and have been swallowed and held back, but it grows, right? It accumulates. And then all of a sudden you've got this massive resentment mountain and it's eroding your connection. So this is not actually about resentment. That's the symptom, right? When we go underneath, this is about communication, right? Whether or not we can actually say the thing that's gnawing away at our insides. And so this day is about getting what needs to be got out of the way so that you can just say what you need to say.
I mean, I have a lot to say on resentment, which I won't do now, but it definitely also negatively impacts your health and well-being.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you're holding on to that stuff, right? And it's eating away at you inside. So yeah, 100% agree on that for sure.
Then what?
Then what? Okay, day 5, the juicy stuff. This is when, and I've actually never delivered this part of my work in a free offering. So that's exciting. Sex, love, and intimacy, right? The pillars of our very intimate personal connections. So really understanding these 3 things, because let's face it, sex is the most swept under the rug taboo topic on the planet. I used to spell it out. I used to say sex, and hope that my mother didn't hear or nobody saw me, right? That's how it was for me. And to be able to speak very freely about it and to be able to understand the difference between sex and intimacy, because I just thought intimacy was sex. And I thought sex was intimacy, and I thought they were kind of the same thing, and they're not. And when we understand that, not only can we empower ourselves in this really vital area, we can empower our kids. Because I still work with so many parents who are not talking to their kids about sex, they're not talking to their kids about love, they're not talking to their kids about intimacy, because they don't have empowerment in those areas themselves. So it is going to be a really juicy day on day 5.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is it's going to actually help people in their relationship with their loved one, like their beloved, as I like to say, but also in other relationships in terms of all these things like communication, hiding, relationship with their kids and other people.
All of the relationships. And the reason why I work with all of our relationships is because at the core, what's sitting at the core, how I go and beneath the problems is the same. Right? It's the same stuff that drives all of our relationships, whether it's with our own parents, our partners, our colleagues, our friends, our lovers, our children, everyone, right? The stuff that sits at the core beneath the problem, the real problems are the same. Yeah. So once we look there,
like, are you saying there's a pattern? Like there's a pattern to the
absolutely.
problem? Okay.
Yep. There's a driver, right?
Yeah.
There's a core driver. And a lot of the work out there addresses the problem, right? How to stop fighting, or I'm going to give you the script of what to say, it's all these tips and tricks, and that's why it's very cheeky of me to be calling it the Fix Your Relationships Challenge. But, I'm speaking the language of what I would have wanted to hear. Oh my
Yeah.
God, just someone come and fix my relationship. But it's going underneath all of that to get to the core. Once you change the core, once you know and are aware of what's going on at the core, all of your relationships are going to change. Not just the one with your kid and or your partner, all of them are
Mm.
going to transform. So yeah, it's powerful stuff.
That is so awesome. I'm going to ask you in a minute. So we're going to drop a link below where people can sign up. It's free. Some people don't know what a challenge is. So what is this, like like, are you doing a daily video? Is it in a Facebook group?
Yep.
How does it work?
Yep. That's great. And I've still got a couple of days that I haven't mentioned,
Yes.
but I'll mention so the structure
Yeah.
of the challenge is that there will be a 90-minute call every day. So for the 7 days of the topics that I've just been going into, there will be a 90-minute call. There will be worksheets to go with that call. There will be live access to the call, obviously. If you can't get there live, and this is why this is a great question. If you can't get there live and you want access to the replays, then you upgrade to VIP, right? You become a VIP upgrade and you get lifetime access to all of the replays, but you also get access to 2 bonus programs,
Mm.
right? Which is really, really exciting. So one of them is I don't have time, because it's about getting more time, right? How do you empower yourself around the concept of time? Because I hear that all the time. I don't have time to do it. If I had more time, then I'd be able to do this. If I had more time, I'd have a better connection with my kids, right? If I had more time. So great program, little mini program that's going to be part of the bonuses. And the other one, which I normally, may offer because it's such a powerful one, but I've created a program around it instead. So there's more depth, is boundaries and consent, right? So I'm covering the sex, love, and intimacy part, but the boundaries and consent are going to be housed, available in the mini program, which will be part of the VIP upgrade bonus. Super powerful stuff.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. And okay, so just for terminology's sake, when you say people who can show up live, that obviously just telling people that means in real time, like you watch it. But if you want the replay or you just can't make all of the calls, I would be like, just upgrade to the VIP because you get those bundles. Okay, what are the last 2 topics?
Okay, so the last 2 topics. Day 6 is about passion killers. What is sucking the passion out of your relationships, right? And these are our modes of relating, which we've been conditioned with from the moment we're born, how we see our parents relating to each other, how we see other relationships happening out in the world. What I'm talking about here is codependency. I'm talking about control-based manipulative relating, right? All aloof, where we're avoiding our relationships. This session is going to be one of the most powerful sessions that people ever receive, because when you see it and when you experience it, because we do some experiential exercises so we can see how, like, how these dynamics are playing out and actually feel them, and they feel pretty, but there is a functional way of relating, which we bring it to. It's so empowering. Yeah. And when I got this information, I was like, oh my God, this is the way that I've been relating in my relationships. And it hasn't been serving me. And now I have another version, right? Another mode of relating. So that's what that's all about. Day 7 is the functional relating. Like, we really dive into, well, how do you actually create these functional relationships? We've got all this information, how do we actually put that into practice, with some really cool experiential exercises. And then day 8, we're going to wrap it up of, well, okay, now you've got all this information. A lot of the time people will get information from trainings and they won't actually apply it, right? It'll just be something that they did, something that they could talk about, but it's not actually being applied in their lives. And this is what has absolutely game change, right? And transformed my life over the last number of years, because I've learned how to actually apply what I learn, right? And that is, it's so different. I can't even explain it. It's like when I used to go and do a training or a weekend, workshop or something, and then by the next Tuesday I'd be back in my stuff, right? The same patterns are playing out, and I'm like, what? But I just did this thing. I just had these amazing experiences, these big epiphanies, and then I'm back in it again. That's what we want to stop happening. So actually helping the participants of this challenge to learn how to apply what they know, not just know it, actually put it into practice and apply it. And that changes everything, right? There are all these people that have done all of this work, but none of it is sticking, right? They can't actually see the tangible results, the tangible difference in their lives. This is going to change it. So that's day 8.
Amazing. All right, you guys. So December 4th to 11th, I do believe, Kiwi
Yep.
time. And Jacqlin, you are, correct me if I get this wrong, but an awakened relating mentor and a relationship alchemist, and alchemist meaning like transforming. And that's what it's about. It's not just learning, oh, that's interesting and that was helpful. It's like, no, we're transforming your relationships. Yeah.
That's it. You got it. Beautiful.
Oh my gosh. All right, everyone, grab the link, get in there with all the 100 other people and get ready for to be empowered. Up your brave, get in the challenge. It's going to be awesome. Thanks, Jacqlin.
Beautiful. Gorgeous. I love it. All right. I'm going to stop the this. I'm going to stop the this. How do I stop the this? Maybe we just have to end the call.
All right.
Stop.
Have fun.
Hang on.